organize themselves in groups. They must have regular meetings every week. They must start these savings that we are talking of amongst themselves. There's already a lot of savings happening up country, but the one we are talking of must be constructive savings. When they save, they must interloan amongst themselves, learn to repay back, be responsible, keep records. Those are the conditions, preconditions. Once they embrace this, then we give them the money.
What challenges were faced in the programs 1 and 2?
In NUSAF 1, I was not there in NUSAF 1, but okay, by the time we got there, it had a bad name. It had rampant corruption on record. Some accusations still stand up to today. In NUSAF 2, we brought on board Inspectorate of Government. We brought a component of the project that we call Transparency, Accountability and Anti-Corruption, working together with Inspectorate of Government to do preemptive measures in advance, quick detections of challenges, corruption tendencies, and addressing it instantly. We have also carried forward with that in NUSAF 3. So there has been that strengthening of the programming. In NUSAF 3 now, it's more of business. We are promoting business.
So the only challenge the other side was, in your view, was mainly corruption?
Well, it was also overwhelming. The problem was really much.
Oh,
there was too much in political interference as well, because you see, almost everyone wanted NUSAF. We were using administrative systems to allocate this money. Every district had to have indicative planning figure. Within the district, every county wants. Within the county, every sub-county wants. Within the sub-county, every parish wants. Within the parish, every village wants. So everybody was staring those resources. So programmatically, we were distributing the resources too widely, too thinly. You can't have impact with such programming. So in NUSAF 3, we have addressed those challenges. We are using now methodologies that makes us have impact. We are using the watershed approach, concentrating these resources in a small area for the strategic purpose, have impact, then you move to another location.
Okay. In your observation, Honorable, what do you think were the challenges in 1 and 2? When we take a break, we shall now come and concentrate on 3. But what are those challenges that really affected 1 and 2? Probably they can be a lesson as we handle 3 now. Yes.
The mindset you talked about, I think, was critical in the 1 and 2. That period when people are just coming out of their IDPs, of returning from Sudan, returning from Congo.
From wherever they had ran to.
People didn't have anything. So it took the nature of almost relief and rescue. And that mentality, that situation has gradually, it affected the program. But it has gradually changed because people have stabilized. People have now settled in specific homes. People have formed groups, associations, more solid, more coherent. And so you can engage them to think critically. But it was a phase.
Okay.
And I think also it was good that the entry point was infrastructure where everybody was concerned. People were asking for schools, people were asking for health centers. I went to Gulu one time when Honorable Mao was chairman of Gulu district. And we were following some developments. And we were told that they were constructing schools and boreholes where there were no people. And so we went to follow up. So the answer we got was that people are now leaving IDPs and going to their original places. Okay. So when they go there, they should find a school where their children can go. They should find water where they can survive on. So it has been that gradual, and people have settled, and people can now do business, agriculture, trade, animal industry.
Alfred talked about
with confidence. Yeah.
Political interference, being in that field amongst us here. Give us the picture.
I think he should be in a better position to explain.
Of course, there are, I mean, you see,
because I know
when you
in
have
your field, anything can be a stepping stone for somebody. Those who are not genuine.
Let me say this, that NUSAF is really people-centered. And the local person and politicians and any leader can associate with it. And what I can say is that people get excited about programs going to the people. And they want to support it with all the effort. And they can even say, well, I have brought this. Maybe that is the political interference.
Okay.
But really beyond that, I think the only thing I can say is that people get excited and people are attached to any program that reaches the local person.
There are those who want to criticize it, say bad things about it, also to use it as a stepping stone in that direction.
The thing which I really regret happens sometimes and among politicians and really people who don't mean well is criticizing this program where some project was implemented. Now when you go there, you don't see it because either they have progressed or it didn't succeed very well, which is really a challenge, and that is a challenge I wanted to address. And I hear people say, we only see signposts. But in that signpost, there was something that was delivered. Either it was some agricultural activity that took place or animal husbandry that took place, and because of that challenge of people didn't have and people just used whatever they were given without thinking of sustainability, then you don't find any trace of thing, which is really unfortunate. And this is where I would like to call upon our leaders, colleague leaders, that whatever government puts in place should be sustained. That project will help those people. Sustainably, we should really enhance all efforts to make sure that the program, the project lives and doesn't die. You go to some place and they say, yes, they brought some animals here, but they are not here. Where did they go? They don't know. But they have either sold it or something like that happened. And so, and in some of our programs under OPM, restocking, for example, we say, when we give you animals, don't sell it immediately. Wait for it to deliver twice. At least you will have some stock. And then you can confidently sell the oldest and keep the two offsprings to multiply. And this is what we should educate our people about, that we don't want signposts. We want the projects to live.
Maybe, Honorable, a lot of sensitization is not done to the fullest before this kind of enhancement is carried on. What do you think?
I think yes and no. Yes and no, because you find some face of NUSAF. If you get a very good worker, the person will be with the community, the person will take the community through all the steps to ensure that the community really embrace this activity. But where you get a lazy worker, you are prone to get some of those challenges like that. Then people don't understand, but sometimes also people refuse to understand because they want to benefit just like that. For example, I have met this question where the committees, the monitoring committees of NUSAF projects were clearly trained, and they were told, you are part of this project, and so you will not be facilitated. But help us to identify the challenges. You monitor your project in your own village, in your own watershed, monitor your projects and bring out whatever challenges are there so that we can address them. And I have gone to some places, I have had this complaint that this committee is asking to be facilitated. No, we can't work like that. You were clearly trained and you are part of this project and you have actually also benefited. It's not that you have not benefited.
Before you ask for facilitation?
Before you ask for facilitation. And facilitation for what? There is no transport. You are going nowhere. You are within your village. So really help us to support projects to live, not to die.
Thank you so much, Honorable Grace Freedom Kuyuchwiny, the State Minister for Northern Uganda. He is here along with Mr. Odera Alfred, the Operations Specialist, NUSAF, the Northern Uganda Social Action Fund. Thank you so much also for watching, and we're having an engagement and conversation about that fund. How has it helped the Northern Uganda region and the other one that is running currently? What plans are there to enhance it more, see that it reaches the person at the ground and everything in that line? We are taking a very short break. On return, we are now concentrating on only NUSAF Phase 3. They're going to tell us what plans are there, how far has it gone, how ready are they, because we have looked at all the challenges that the other one faced. How have they planned this one, that nothing that affected the other two will affect this one? Just keep around, do not go anywhere.
Three. What's up with number 3? It's 3 at Airtel and not 4 anymore. It's 3 shillings per second across all networks in Uganda.
Make calls from Airtel to all networks at 3 shillings per second. Get to talk to anyone on any network anytime at 3 shillings per second. Ha ha!
Airtel, the smartphone network. Airtel is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay. Dial *185#, select option 6, school fees, select option 2, school pay, select option 1, pay fees, enter student number, enter the amount, enter the PIN number to complete payment. Beat the back to school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money, simple, instant, secure.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Yes, thank you so much for watching and welcome back from that break. Thank you once again for being part of the show. We are having a special talk show dedicated towards the Northern Uganda Action Fund, and that is NUSAF. They're having a third phase that is already on. We want to know how ready and how prepared it is. What do they have in the package? I'm with the Honorable Grace Freedom Kuyuchwiny, the Honorable Minister of State for Northern Uganda, and Mr. Odera Alfred, a Programs Operations Specialist in the NUSAF arrangement. I'll start with you, Alfred. Give us a picture of how Phase 3 started. Yes, we saw 2 and 1 and 2. We spent a whole 30 minutes discussing 1 and 2. Now, give us a picture of how the idea came up and how we started Phase 3.
Phase 3 is a continuation.
Okay.
Because we had Phase 1, Phase 2. We drew up a lot of lessons from Phase 1 and Phase 2. And one of the major lessons we learned was that when we give grants to people, grants alone is not enough. Besides the grants, we need to do more enhancement. We need to build a capacity of people to do more. That was a big lesson. And it helped us in programming the NUSAF 3. Another lesson we learned was that when we spread these resources widely, thinly, the way I'd explained before, you find a heifer here, you find a saloon somewhere, you find a gardens, that doesn't take people out of poverty. We need to do constructive engagement with the communities make them do market-driven investments, critical mass of production, and lead them to markets. Markets is what will take people out of poverty.
So, those three,
Yes.
what phase 1 and 2 had not served?
Correct. That is what enriched the programming in NUSAF 3. So in NUSAF 3, we moved away from the emergency, we moved away from the reconstruction works that were done. We went purely now into livelihoods. To support individuals, to support households, to produce, access markets, and use the money wisely. And in the programming of NUSAF 3, we had innovations, things that we had not tried before as a country. And one of them is a component, a sub-component, we call it disaster risk financing. With the disaster risk financing, you know, there are disasters that occur all the time. And when they occur, they cause loss, and we find challenges how to get out of it. So under this programming, we proactively give money to people in advance. Let them prepare themselves with these resources, and when disaster occurs, they are more equipped to
With
endure.
what? Money in liquid form?
Money, now, we do it this way. We have a component we call labor-intensive public works, where if communities want to like open up the roads in their villages, you provide to them those resources, they work, they earn wages from it, and we do that strategically when we are foreseen that a disaster is imminent. Under the disaster risk financing arrangement, we scientifically look at we focus using scientific methods. For example, we focus in this stage on drought, and we picked Karamoja as a case study. Very common, year in, year out, we know that there is always famine in Karamoja. Now, we give opportunities for the people of Karamoja to work in advance, earn wages, we pay them, and people get this and put stock of food in their houses. They prepare themselves for eventualities. We don't just give it anyhow. We scientifically determine, is that drought going to occur? So we don't have surprises. The reports we have for the financial year 2017-2018 shows that by this type of intervention, we have saved up to 80% of the usual resources government spends on emergency relief aid in Karamoja. For the last 3 years also, because of this kind of interventions, there has not been reported cases of death in Karamoja due to famine, like the years before. So this is innovation. I think this is a good lesson that as a country we should pick and take forward.
Okay.
We also had a pilot. Because we have been giving grants to people, we gave in NUSAF 1, we gave in NUSAF 2. I said before that grants alone is not good enough. So in NUSAF 3, it's not about grants. First, prepare yourself. Tune your mind that you can produce, you can access markets, you can use money constructively. That build up the preconditions, what I refer to as the core principles, is very, very important. And then,
like I asked you previously when we were discussing 1 and 2.
yes,
This time round, how do you tell that I'm now ready and organized enough to receive your money and use it fruitfully?
yeah, we have methodologies.
What are those signals that you see in
We
my
have
home?
methodologies. Every, what we call watershed, the particular geographical location that we have demarcated to invest in, we have a focal person who resides there in the watershed, a local person. In fact, Uganda is so rich, wherever you go, you will not fail to get senior 4, senior 6, or even graduates in those locations. Those people live with the communities and support them every day. Every single day they are with them. So whatever takes place in the communities, the trainings are done by those people. We provide them with the facilities, the guidance, the curriculum, if I may use that word. that they use to progressively guide the communities. So the system is in place.
Okay.
Yes. We borrowed this from institutions that have done that in countries like Bangladesh, in India. You know, the modalities are well known. We now do not rely so much on the grants. We now promote village revolving fund because we did
You want people to become self-starters.
Aha.
Okay.
We give them money. They have to use the money, make profit, save, reinvest, and that is it.
You want to see results.
Correct.
Now, you are the technical person. The Honorable Minister here deals with us, the people at the ground. How do you see the results there? How would you rate NUSAF 3 for the time it has run and as you look at it, at the ground? Is it scoring the desired goal?
It's scoring the desired goals. From the last studies, I know that, and this is like 1 year ago, already 69,000 households were reached through this approach. Now we are able to know specifically how many households were reached. And when time comes, we can specifically evaluate that household, whether it has risen above poverty level.
Okay.
That is one. Two, the level of happiness. Like I told you the example of this lady who said, I have bought solar for myself, and now I'm sending my child to school. That happiness, you can't take it away from somebody.
Definitely.
That happiness will live with somebody. That somebody will live to tell a story. Once upon a time, I was not able maybe to feed, maybe to send my child to school. I could not afford paraffin every day, but I had solar on my house. So, and this has come about mainly by introducing this concept of saving and investment. And I want to thank this program so much, because many of our people in the rural areas would not save. And maybe many of them, even up to now, do not understand saving. I have an example of some youth. They say, we want to work, employ us, but we want you to pay us today. And they call it per day. They do not buy any idea of after a week or after a month. No, they want it today, now. And NUSAF has
Cash
also,
down.
Yes, NUSAF has also brought in that other aspect to educate people, that when you do the work, government is confidently and surely going to pay you at the end of the day. But of course not daily. It has to be an organized, systematic, structured system. And so they have had to live with it, but they know that surely one day at time T, they are going to pay us. And so when they are paid also, they are put down and they are asked, now that you have got this money, what are you going to do with it? And then you hear people coming up with discussions. I know people who have bought land. They didn't have land before. I know people who have invested in animals. They didn't have animals before. And these families definitely are better than how they were before.
Okay.
And if we didn't target the household specifically, if we just did infrastructures, the lives of these people would never have changed.
Okay. There are those long-term kind of achievements or signals of development that you can look at and they have changed the community. Do we see grades, things like grades after your neighbors released senior for example? Are there changes like that that you can attribute to NUSAF?
That would be difficult to define.
Because we are looking at 15 years now? We had the 5 years of one.
This is now the 14th year.
Yes.
But you can be specific to mention it at that household. Like I'm talking about this family who is now sending her child to school. It cannot be general, because the watershed does not take like the whole population of a parish with one primary school. It takes a few households, and within those households, not everybody is picked, but at least somebody. And it could be a youth who doesn't have a child yet.
Yes.
It could be maybe a woman whose children have already grown but vulnerable because of age and because of neglect. So I cannot say it contributes 100%, but definitely it has attributed
such impact is
Yeah.
there. Yes, Alfred, what do you think of the young people benefiting from this project? How do they tap into the opportunities, and what opportunities are there anywhere in this third phase? Because they are the largest group.
Yes, they are.
If they are not mentioned, actually, you may not be talking about any community in Uganda.
Yes,
So,
they are.
how can they tap into the opportunities in this third phase?
The youth constitute the largest proportion of the population.
Yes.
In NUSAF, we have up to $61 million for what we call the labor-intensive public works. And that is a component that engages able-bodied persons, people who can work and earn some money from. Majority of these youth are not employed. So that is an opportunity for them to get temporary employment. 5,500 shillings per day. The youth in the villages there, they appreciate it. And we have up to about 34% of our participants, people we categorize in the youth category. So that is a very good opportunity for them. We also engage them temporarily, not just the labor bit of it. I said in every watershed, we have employment for one person permanently, well, for the duration of the project. That's not bad. We have 511 people now employed. That is not just employment. It's also opportunity for them to build themselves.
Yes.
Through that work, the simplest they would benefit is reference. Beside the wages, the salary that they get, reference. Some of them move within a short time. They use that to apply for other jobs. I'm working for NUSAF, I can do this. We train them, we give them tablets, equipment that they use, they learn to use, and they can apply these skills elsewhere.
Okay.
But overall, you see, we want people to get out there and do something for themselves. We have initiatives to, especially for the urban youth, to initiate investments that are of interest to them. We have some idea in Mbale, in Malaba, in Gulu. We have introduced what we call coffee shops. Coffee shops where there are investments relating to youth interests. A boardroom where they have projectors, they can have meetings, facilities for conferences, for photography like this one, the cameras, the drones that they use for taking photographs, chairs, tents, that they can organize events and manage events, kiosks, they can sell beverages, coffee in particular, and car wash, saloons.
They're investing in every venture.
We make them form groups as a cooperative. And all these ones that I've mentioned would be different businesses within the cooperative.
Let Honorable tell us about the women. Yes, this is some other group that really needs attention. How have they benefited, and how are they benefiting in phase 3?
The women are all in these activities. The women are focused on activities they can manage. But they have also gone an extra mile to do things which were not in their roles, so to say. Because I have moved and I have found women digging the roads.
Okay.
They are part of those who dig the road so that they can get the labor-intensive fund, which is given to that type of group. I have found women in Bududa. For them, they ask specifically for heifers. And they take care of the heifers with passion. I have never seen any passion in all the groups like I saw in Bududa and Mbale, where you find a woman with her cow standing in one spot until the cow is fed, because those people also have a challenge of land and grass, and they don't want to interfere with neighbors. So they take care of the animals so well. They feed it, then they take it to the back of the house and supplement. Then I have met women groups who specifically got the savings and credit funds, and they are in their market. They are selling whatever they can manage to sell, maybe silverfish, maybe greens, cassava, beans in their market. And after every sale, they are going back in their group to meet and say, how much have we made today? And how much can we save and how much can we share? So the women are very involved.
Okay.
And they are the most exciting group. They are also in leadership. I've seen women who are chairpersons of particular section. I'm a chairperson of the savings and credit. I'm a chairperson of the digging, of the tree planting.
So besides the economic benefits,
yes,
the system is training them into leadership as well.
In leadership, in management, in decision making. And they are very strong. When they stand to speak, the groups listen to them, and that is the thing I admire most.
Okay.
Because culturally, you know, bringing a woman to stand up in a community, it's not that easy.
It was another journey.
It's another journey.
Now,
so
in as far as
I see that empowerment.
Okay. In as far as fighting poverty in the region is concerned, where do you see gaps in NUSAF that at least we still need to handle this, and that?
It may not be in NUSAF per se. It is in the target group. That the target group is very wide.
Yes.
And I am sure we are not going to reach all the 890,000 households with this funding. And for sure, there is need to step up and reach the 890,000 households. The second thing I see is that we have formed the basics. At least people are aware that we have to participate, we have to get involved, we have to participate in decision making, we have to make our own investments.
Yes.
As it were. We
Government
cannot
is just
wait.
giving a hand
yes.
for us to move.
Exactly. And for me, that is the most important point for confidence in that family and also for sustainability of the program. But they have produced, for the activities they have been engaged in agriculture and so on, they have produced. And now we have to think of the next level of, for example, post-harvest management, the storage and the processing of all these things they are producing. The rice, the sunflower, the simsim, where do they take it? When we talk of market, we are not going to sell it raw. We have to add value. And that is where I want to stress that to step this up and to add value and to create employment, we really need to talk about storage facilities. We need to talk about processing facilities. We even need to talk about irrigation.
Okay.
We talk about irrigation.
Okay, we have 2 minutes. I'll give you one, Alfred. This time you have a budget of $160 million.
130.
130. How safe is this money? In part 1 and 2, we saw elements of, just in 30 seconds, how safe is this money?
In NUSAF 2, we accounted for 99.8% of the money.
So the same culture?
In NUSAF 3, we hope to account for 99.9% of the money.
Okay.
That means we will be able to explain 99.9% of the money, where it is, how it is used. We will be able to do that.
Okay.
The money is safe.
Okay. We thank you so much for the time. But again, where do you see NUSAF? What other plans do you have in just some 30 seconds?
We would like people to appreciate the lessons we have got from the pilots that we have done, from the DRF that we have tried, and there are positive attributes of it which the country should embrace.
Okay.
And we also don't do this alone. People should join us because there are aspects that can only be complemented by others.
Okay, I'll wind up with you, Honorable Minister. What is your message to the Ugandan watching you, because all this government is doing for him or her?
I would like to ask the people of the North, and especially beneficiaries of this program, that it should not end with the funding, with the support of NUSAF. Once you have been supported, you should be able to carry on with life, and you should be better. You should actually appear better than somebody who has not received this support.
Okay.
And you count yourself lucky. And I want also to request the district authorities that really the pride of working in the district, the pride of leadership, is seeing the people being transformed to a better life. And so I want us to have that commitment and the passion to support this program, so that we see the lives of our people changing for the better, never to return to poverty.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, State Minister for Northern Uganda, the Honorable Grace Freedom Kwechwin. Thank you so much for coming and whatever we have shared. Thank you so much, Mr. Odera Alfred, the program's operations specialist, NUSAF, for coming and whatever we have shared. Yes, to you, the Ugandan watching, whenever government gives a hand, it's you to run for whatever is in that hand and take good use of it. That's my message to you, our brothers and sisters in the Northern Uganda region. We thank you so much for watching. News is coming in. Please do not go anywhere. Get to know what has happened in your country and everywhere else. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
Thank you.
TV is the only public broadcaster of choice.
We inform, educate, guide, and entertain.
We bring you news as it is, wherever it is happening in real time.
We take you faraway places from border to border.
We keep you up to date wherever you are.
In the languages of Kiswahili, Luganda,
and English.
UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
Let me drink one for the road. Let me drink one for the road. Cause you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Whoa, whoa.
No, I've never been someone shy until I seen your eyes. Still I had to try, yeah. Girl, every little thing I do it for you. In every little song I sing it for you.
The first film that I made when I finished university, after university, was called Pregnant Woman Stabs Husband Dead. And that was the title of...
Yeah, the title of the movie says it all. Is it what I think it is?
But no, not at all as well. So that was the title of the newspaper article that inspired it. I was flipping through a tabloid, and it's one of those things where it caught me.
It's wrong with the instruction.
To lose your temper within me. It's got to be something other than kidnapping people.
Maybe in America.
in America.